And some CLIs, you can also put it into Taipa, then show an error message. And I really hate it because I get an error message. And the first thing I type afterwards is type -- help.
Yeah.
So if you have a command which has subcommands or whatsoever, make it a good habit. This is one of the enrage moments where I'm like, what the hell? Do I have to type again just for the help? I mean, it's quite obvious. This command does nothing. It does literally nothing just to hold other commands. Why do I need to type help?
Hey guys, welcome to this video. Today we're gonna take a look at CLI. CLI, so Cody asked me to do a CLI in task 2, but never really explained to us or to me how this really works. And now this is overdue, I think. So, and yeah.
I think it was overdue for, I don't know, 15 lessons or something. But sometimes it's good to first do it a few times. Realize how much you screwed it up and then learn it one time, you know. But not that I had any purpose in it. I think I just really...
Yeah, it was just by accident, right?
It was just by coincidence. I must really not give myself credit for it.
Yeah, and you have Hilda again today.
Yeah, we are playing 2.5 developers here in this session.
Right.
No, she's released in a second. She does the important part. She continues sleeping.
Yes. Yes.
That's what she's really professional at. and keeping software engineers motivated. By the way, it's funny stuff, but I took her to company event once. Mm-hmm. But ever since then, like I get asked all the time, you know, about her.
If you can bring her back.
If I could bring her to work or whatever, you know, like unfortunately the company policy doesn't allow it, but people underestimate it if you have tough meetings or stressful days and stuff. And you just have a pet.
Yes.
It relaxes you like hell.
Yeah.
It's such a big difference.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
I will release the little Kraken.
Yes.
Yeah. She wants to cut it so much.
Yeah.
Little fox demon. I'm not sure if she's a squirrel or a dog. She's somewhere in between.
Mixture, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, today we looked at CLIs, my friends. We do that intermediate. Let's try doing it in the middle, okay?
All right.
So the command line interfaces. This is a bit of a shorter text I prepared here, because the problem is a lot of the wisdom of building CLIs is a bit in between the lines. It's hard to write it down. A lot comes down. The reason is because CLIs are about user experiences, and user experiences you could write books about it. That's really long. Yeah. I think the most important lesson for you is if you write command line interfaces or anything with a user experience, put yourself all the time when you design the interface into the foot of someone else or in the position of someone else and really think about it. And then not only do that, because most people are too relaxed by it, but be really pissed at the same time. Okay? So you become a different person from the other side and become a really pissed person.
Okay.
And then you will figure out the interface pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I also want to encourage everyone here, talk to us if you want some feedback on this on your code. Because I didn't write it down here, but I really want you to learn about it. So if you want to have our opinion or something, write us on the Discord. And we can take a look at your CLIs and that stuff, and give you some feedback. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. How do you usually write CLIs? Which libraries do you use, Manu?
Well, at first I know argparse, I think, but I just had a quick look at that because I know that kind of syntax from the Java world. So there I did always the thing with the args from the command line. But then I stuck with Taipa and pretty much never looked at anything else because that was just working perfectly for me. So click I don't know at all. and argparse just a little. But Taipa is really, it's just so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to check myself from time to time when I prepare these lessons, because also I have limited experience. We have limited time at work, so you can never know all the libraries.
Yeah.
Hands-on is something different than knowing them by name.
Right.
And I checked, and there are so many. But I must really say, in my professional environment, most of the work has been done on Click, actually.
Okay.
Taipa is the new guy on the block, which is built on top of Click. So Taipa is basically usable Click. So that's why I prefer to use Taipa nowadays too.
Yeah.
I tried it and I was really happy with it.
Yeah.
ArcParse. Some people, we have DevOps people who just do automatization with small scripts or stuff like this. You don't want to have Click or Taipa there, really, because for a script, pulling in dependencies just for argument parsing feels a bit wrong and overloaded. I really understand if someone just goes quickly for ArcParse, because it's in the I think, standard library. So you can basically hand over a script to someone else and don't need to install anything in order to make it work. So ArcParse is really, really handy for smaller stuff. Definitely, I would not disregard it. Like I said, there's other stuff. Also to our viewers, let us know if you have some good experience with other libraries.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but this one is basically, this list here is based on the frequency of projects, what I saw. I basically really saw how they handle it. And these three are very clear on my personal list. And other stuff is really rare. So Yeah. What's really cool, I went with Taipa here too.
Yeah.
As you see. I'm glad I have another type of fanboy that always makes it easy.
Yes.
Yeah. There are a few lessons learned. They have a few these brackets here is for sometimes for features. You can additionally install some stuff or leave it out, depending on how many dependencies you want to pull in. I just do the all. I don't care. If I start pulling in a dependency, I take it all. The commands itself, usually what I like to do is in the structure of the project, I created separate directory just for the commands. So you basically have the core functionality distributed also in other directories, but then just in the end, you can imagine the functions in the core. There's some function which you want to expose through a CLI.
Yes.
You have usually two options. You can expose it directly like this, or you can add a CLI folder, and then in that add the commands. I want to say you can do, I wrote it also down here, you can do whatever the hell you like. The reason why I rather like to do it with an additional folder and more software best practice is it's very clear that the CLI is just another layer on top of your core functionality. And you can also leave it out and ship the core itself, your core functions, and they can be used basically. It's really,
it's clean.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
It's very clean. So that's kind of a bit what I really like about it. But you can, I would fully understand if someone would do it differently. But these are basically the two ways. Guess creating another folder is more like a senior thing. Sometimes you just want to have stuff cleanly arranged.
Yeah, right.
or know where stuff is in. That's really important.
Yeah, that helps. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, from Taipa, you know it already, right? You basically create this command thing, and then you have this annotation above a function.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons why I say I understand if you expose your core functionality directly, because what I create here is basically a function to just call a single another function.
Yes.
And this is a bit like, you already see, it's a bit like a duplication. What I still like though is, for example, you at least know where these commands now lie. And also where they are. If you expose your core functionalities all over your code base, you always have to search a bit for this exposing function.
Yeah, right.
But you could also arrange it in a way that it works. So feel a bit creative, free, how it works for you. But like I said, I'm really a big fan of not mixing user interface up with core functionality. That's I don't know, in many ways a big importance to me as a more mature web developer.
Yeah.
I don't know, which one would you go, Manu? Would you rather put it into a second?
Well, actually, I have a question on that, because what I was doing in task 2 was that I changed my output mechanism, because I saw that you could use Taipa.echo instead of writing to the standard error. And so I happened to mix. So I had just one file, and this was just a command line interface, and there's not really much the need to differentiate between the core functionality. But actually, with a bigger project, I would not do it any other way than this, to really separate both. Because in the end, what's going to happen, some user will come to you and have a feature request or some problem, some bug, whatever. And if you have it separated, you can instantly go, all right, which command did you use? All right, I'm going here. Then you follow down the path to the core functionality and see where the issue is. But if it's mixed, you're searching and searching and searching. Probably a lot more than when you have it separated. So separation for bigger projects. If you have just one file, I think it's okay to mix it.
It's also okay to start one way and turn the other around at some point.
Right, sure, yeah.
Never forget, naturally projects grow, and if you make it complicated in the beginning, you're screwed like hell. Like this is one of the, if you want to become a senior developer or something someday, this is how you find a senior developer. He knows exactly when to do what. Like when to extract stuff out, refactor things, but also allow when stuff is small and so to be not perfect.
Yes. Yeah, you want to sacrifice the perfection for speed at the beginning, definitely, because you don't want to be limited.
Yeah, because speed is more what you need in the beginning than perfection. But you also, that's the most tricky part, is you want to have speed, but not too much that later on you have to clean up too much. So it's kind of, it's a delicate balance, and it's almost impossible to put into words for something. Like it's something which can be learned just by a person and can be done right by a person with a lot of experience who guides through this, which tells you, okay, now we have the need to do this and this. And the funny part is, though, it's not necessarily just a person with a lot of experience. That's important for sure, but also that you use your own feeling. And it tells you already half of because the senior developer just hears on his feeling. Like it's not like he has a checklist. When some companies, they have maturity templates or stuff where they say, okay, this project goes forward. Now we have to do this checklist. No one does that, you know. For sure, you have quality gates, but that's a different thing. But it's just that the person just listens to their own rationality and feelings. And that's where this comes from. And you already have it if you just focus more on it. If you ask yourself, for example, does this make sense? And if you don't know, you can also play around a bit with it to figure it out. That's how also every usual developer, if you don't know the result, okay, then
try it out.
Try it out and see if it works. And if it does, it does. If not, then
and you learn
your lesson.
You learn. That's how you grow your experience. And
right.
Your gut is your friend in the end. The gut feeling.
Not if your boss is then always behind you, like, work faster. Why are you playing again? What the hell are you doing?
You're wasting my money.
I saw your icon in MS Teams was on the way for 5 minutes. This is working time.
That's the worst, right? Yeah.
Oh man, I would quit right away if I would have someone like this. Jesus Christ, people, programming is so creative. Like if you push, geez, oh no. You will have security vulnerabilities all year long.
Right. But I think it's rather rare, or not. I don't really know the software industry that much, but I think it's not that common that you have bosses who really understand that and let you also have your freedom to.
They're a bit more urged to, because software engineers are highly credited.
Right now it is. Sure.
Because they have a high leverage on automatization, so they leave them also more freedom usually.
And it pays off in the end,
the real problem I have, but it's the same I encountered in every company software or not, is usually one level above, like let's say the group lead or something. That's usually an easy person, but the level above, usually the shit show starts, to be honest. A lot of ego shows and that stuff, and then you are already in the swarm. So if you have a good group lead, he or leadership, they protect you from all of this stuff.
Yeah, that's very important.
But that's another
topic for another video.
For the hiring talk, man. Yeah.
We keep coming back to that topic. I think that will be a good video to do.
Yeah. And I mean, we will definitely do it.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, it's a little bit granularity also, that you don't take a shitty boss just to get a job.
Yeah.
Trust me. Yeah. Okay. So the cool thing about Taipa is it creates really nice command line help messages and that stuff.
Yeah.
I really love it I think it's even colored in real life. So it's super, super handy. You see here the command. Maybe I can quickly do a demo. Oi, someone didn't eradicate the path from the previous video. Here we go. Okay. So I hope I did run it. Poetry run. Wait, I think I have a task command. No, I don't. No, we need poetry run. Python -m, because we need to run the module itself.
Yeah.
Once it's distributed, you just run it with Death Star in this case.
Yeah.
But when you run it like this, okay, here you see it, it's even colored.
Yeah.
You see a command here. What I did in this example, I did also do subcommands. Okay. And to show you a bit that you can group stuff into subcommands. For example, if you have this laser command, you could maybe fire it or reload it or whatever. So you have that's one of the lessons in between, which I really struggle to put into this. If you have a resource with which you can do multiple things,
yes,
put the resource first. I must say, though, some CLIs turn it also around when the resource is always the same, like on Kubernetes or something. Usually, they do the other one around. So you could do here Death Star laser fire, but some CLIs do it the opposite way. They do Death Star fire laser.
Yeah.
Maybe because there are other resources which can fire too. For example, I don't know, bombs or cannon, or whatever. You could shoot different things. Then of course they swap it around and it feels more natural. This is one of the things which I can put into a lesson is, I mean, Death Star laser fire sounds way more horrible in language than Death Star fire laser. Okay? Yeah. So this is a bit the thing between the lines, which is so hard to communicate, is sometimes you have the option in the CLI to swap around the arguments and make it just feel much better. But you need to be really careful when you do that, because this is also what people forget is it's a bit dangerous. Sometimes you might add commands later on and then it doesn't fit entirely anymore all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
But this is now again the next trap. This is why it's so hard to put into names. Sometimes you think you are gonna need one more or two, but it's somehow in this vague future which will never come. So you start prepping a deep hierarchy where there's only one command and a subcommand or something. And it's really screwed up interface, because you have a subcommand and a subcommand just to reach one subcommand. And then, there might be a new command coming maybe in the future, but it will never come. And you have a shitty user interface. So this is really the other side then, to not be in a hypothetical future all the time, but really try to stay on the ground and design it. And this is the most important. Design the scope, kind of like also design which commands come, which might come, but which are quite unlikely to ever come, to be honest. You know, that you kind of line out. It's so funny, like a fly is annoying me all the time, and I try to focus really hard. It's even on the camera. That's so funny.
Yeah.
That you really focus on what's the scope of your tool. That's maybe the best way to put it.
Is it the same thing like with variable names, for example? I had the problem if I do a lot of file reader. I had the option of going reader and then the type of file this is for, or the type of file and then reader. But I thought to myself, well, if I'm coding, I know I want a reader, so I start with reader and then the file name. But I think it's dependent on what is more. If you have a lot of readers, it could be good to start with reader and then the sub thing. And if it's the other way around, if you have just one reader for multiple files, then I think it could go also the other way around. But yeah, it's just a feeling, right?
That's the ridiculous thing. I mean, if you take the variable name and you swap it around the two words, and it feels better. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what I want people to learn also in this course here, is that a lot of it is feeling. Most about it is feeling, and you need to figure for yourself also out these experiences through your own feelings, because they are actually really what make developers really, really good in the end. So it's not about necessarily rationality, which people always confuse, but it's really, really about listening to your feelings. And if you don't know what your feelings tell you, like we said before, try it out. And there will be coming out one option, which is usually, even if just slight, better, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is basically how this looks like. What I always like to do is, I didn't give it here the subcommand yet. And some CLIs, you can also put it into Taipa, then show an error message. And I really hate it, because I get an error message, and the first thing I type afterwards is type -- help.
Yeah.
So if you have a command which has subcommands or whatsoever, make it a good habit. This is one of the enrage moments where I'm like, what the hell? Do I have to type again just for the help? I mean, it's quite obvious. This command does nothing. It does literally nothing just to hold other commands. Why do I need to type help? So that you get a bit
the rage moments.
The rage moments of my user experience design, okay?
Yeah.
Then you can, of course, type the subcommand. Here then you see the fire, and this is really bad design. You would not... If this is the final CLI, I would kick myself hard into the balls. Like, this is not okay. Like, not a command into a command. No sense, man.
Yeah.
Figure something out. Even if it's then up here, but it's a resource and you do something, whatever, man. Like, make it fire - laser. Done. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, don't complicate. Don't make a hierarchy for something which doesn't need a hierarchy. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. And then you can just... have the command itself. It will, I think, fail without an argument. Yeah, that's good, because it needs it. Yeah. And then you can just give it the name, and it does whatever it should, which is printing out the message.
Yeah.
So this is basically a bit just that you get a bit understanding of the user experience, which is really, really important. Yeah. Like screw when you... People underestimate it so much. Like, a good user experience. The best part is I've met so many good developers, really ridiculously good people. But for God's sake, man, like, user experience is really not their thing. So it's really a good quality. Like, if you have that, you're one of the rare people. Really, really.
I think it's the combination of being a good developer, but also being able to go and walk in the shoes of a user. Because if you have both worlds, you can link the two, and that's powerful. Because the developer, if he's good at developing, he doesn't have the need for a good user experience, because he knows the software to the core, and he's actually working a lot with the core. And but the user will...
One cool thing I always recommend, which is also, if you have a good group lead, he does that automatically, but I see that quite rarely. Sometimes we did some role plays in our group.
Yeah.
And it's silly and fun. Like, do it more for fun than for seriousness.
Yeah.
But you get role cards, and then you need to fulfill them. And it's really nice to just get a role card, like be a raging user or something.
Yeah.
Go into the tool and really rampage around. And then in the end, you distill a bit through your rage. And you figure out a few things. You would be surprised. And I really love doing silly stuff like this at work. It kind of breaks apart the fixed role you have and you've grown into as a developer.
Yes.
But also, it's quite fun to break apart those structures from time to time through a little bit of playful interaction.
Yeah, and it gives you insight. It's because the rage, there's some reason for the rage, and the rage is happening in real time or in real life. So it's definitely worth thinking about because, if you as a user, what do you do when you rage about the software? Well, you deinstall it and search for an alternative. And you never want that as a developer, that your software is getting ditched because the user experience is bad. Yeah, so...
Especially the problem is with user experiences, you burn them usually just once. There is no second chance usually. Like you do it wrong one time, that's it usually. It's unbelievably unforgiving.
Yeah.
Unbelievably unforgiving.
They will just go away. And there's your chance of making a good first impression. So,
I mean, the thing is, you don't write software to be famous. And to be honest, you write software to make a living for sure.
Yeah.
But if you only write it for making a living, you will start hating your life pretty soon. What you really do need to have, and good software has that in its heart, is like Git, for example. It tries to help people, help with people needs.
Yeah.
So there is a need for a solution because something is really painful, takes a lot of time, is not fun. Name it however you like. So your user experience is at the absolute core of everything what you do.
Yeah.
So you have the highest by far interest to give a good user experience. The rest in the background is a part of it, to make it secure and whatsoever if you have more complex solutions. But Jesus Christ, your user experience is really what you do it for, to give a tool to someone like we had at work. Like people come to us and tell our team, hey, this is a very good tool. Like I really love it. And I'm like, always like, oh, Jesus, man, like there's not even half of the stuff in there I have planned, it's not so ridiculous good to me as a developer even. But, we did our job and seemingly we did it good, that lots of people come to us and tell us it's a good software. So,
in the end,
really at the heart.
User
really
experience is maybe you could phrase it as the real world API of the user to your software. Yeah. And if that's shitty, well... Yeah. You
know what we usually do? Like also at work, it's so funny because I'm a half a front-end developer.
Yeah.
We also, you cannot imagine how often like our real front-end developer gives me some code. Then I go into the code here, I check the margins, the text size and stuff. And then I start always like editing, making stuff bigger and tweaking it a bit. Like it's so funny because and then I try to figure out where I'm more angry or where I am more annoyed. It's so fun doing this, tailoring more web experiences or stuff. But that's a topic for another lifetime, maybe. In this course, it's definitely out of scope.
Just to follow on the tangent, one more thing which came to my mind. Maybe it's a little bit too much of speculation, but the high success in the early days of Apple was because they created a user experience which was far better than anything else on the market. And I think some of the rationale behind that was exactly that. If the user does not like our experience we are providing them, he will not use it. And so make it as pleasant, as easy, as applicable for every task you want to do as a user as possible. And the rest is history. So, Just an important topic.
Yeah, no, perfect. Yeah, last thing for distributing. I mean, in the end, I don't want that people need to run this complicated Python -m blah, blah, blah to use the CLI, right?
Yeah,
What I want them to do is run this command simply Death Star fire laser blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So it's this Death Star needs to be somewhere available, like a binary on the system. It needs to feel like it. It's never like it in Python anyway. That's a horrible try, but yeah. Okay, so the trick is actually you can register it in Poetry under scripts, where I basically give it the path to the name and the main function.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is then you just need to basically build it with Poetry build, then you get a Python wheel, and if you install this wheel, then it's gonna be available as a command. Really
cool.
nice.
That's nice.
So this is the important part to basically make it a real CLI, and when people use it, they will not recognize that is something with Python in the rear.
Yeah.
It still needs to be installed through Python, of course, but afterwards it's available, and it's really really cool. That's what I really like also about all of this stuff, that you can kind of easily wrap these commands up, that they feel more natural.
Right.
Yeah. So like I said, it's not a lot of text here, because as I talked a lot in between the lines, which is really hard for me to put in. Maybe I should have just put in what I talked. But feel free to reach out. Good user experience really comes from learning and trying. Listen to your feeling, and if you're unsure, ask us or try it out. Feel.
Take that chance, and we're available for that, and we like to do that as well. Just look at different kind of styles and also learn, because nobody knows everything, so there's always a chance
just
for learning.
Grow.
Yeah,
naturally growing. So
CLI.
We didn't talk about tea again.
Yeah, right. So what you drinking?
I was in the middle, man. If the flow goes, man. Wait. I'm still chipping off piece by piece from my mushroom tea. The thing is, if you start stuff like this, usually for a week or so, you go hard on this stuff. And then afterwards, you inhaled enough components which you were lacking that you take it a bit slower. But I must say, the problem is at the moment I'm still at the edge. So it's easy to chip off. But I must say, the saw is actually really getting a bit blunt slowly from what it looks like. So
chipping up.
I really like tea. You can just brew in hot water any shit you like. Basically, like there's wheat based tea. You can roast it. There's all kind of green teas anyway. There are fruit teas. I'm not the biggest fan of those though. But there are also crazy mushroom teas and what. It's just so funny. You're still on the jasmine, man?
Yeah. Can't get enough of that. It's really lovely. So,
sucker, man. I think after mushroom tea phase, I will go for
the sweet white or a jasmine tea.
I think a jasmine tea phase would do me good. I haven't had one of those in a long time.
It's quite a good tea, definitely.
It's like TV series, like you never watch anything, but then you decide to watch, and you go through one TV series in 2 days or so, and then you're done after
watching. Happens to all of us.
And then you continue with your life, and just sometimes you need this phase where you go hard on something.
Right. There's no stopping.
Okay. We hope you liked the video. Subscribe and like if you like. Share your experience in the comments. And of course, our Discord server. See that as an opportunity to grow by yourself. And other than that, we are slowly nearing more towards the end of the course.
Right,
3 more lessons.
Yes.
I also want to prepare you all mentally. There will come a 3rd task, and it will be multi-staged, I decided. But it will be designing an API, and it's a bit delicate because APIs is a huge topic, and you can screw up a lot. So I will give my best to make a task, which also leads all of you a bit more into professional life. But it's hard, I must say. It's because APIs are complex. Yeah.
Right.
But anyhow, so we are nearing. Be prepared a bit for the last piece, and
It'll be a bigger one.
I haven't finalized the third task yet, so please don't read what I'm writing here, because it will most definitely not be the final version of what I have in plan. But I need to store my thoughts somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So yeah, Manu, you're already sweating. What's up? Like this?
Yeah. I just took a look, and so it will be even more than that, and I'm already scared a little bit, but yeah.
Tell your wife and job you take a leave for a week.
Right. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. So like with also the task 2 or the task 1, it's always a possibility to learn, and I take it as exactly that. And sweat and pain and blood is part of the process, so you can as well enjoy it.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I want everyone also in the that's kind of the core spirit, right? To push you over your limits, but in a sense that you can handle it. But then, you do it once, and then the second time it's like a breeze all of a sudden. It's also why I liked actually doing multiple tasks, so you can repeat a bit what you already learned.
Yeah,
see that there's nothing to it actually.
Yeah.
The first time there's always something to it, but the second time not anymore.
Yeah, it gets easier by the count, and yeah. So it's a pretty good learning experience, and it's also a balance between boredom if it's too easy, or anxiety if it's too hard, and between those
also
two,
unrealistic. I hate it if you get. Do you know those tutorials which teach you, and it's super unrealistic, and afterwards you, I don't know, have to face some real task, for me at least in the software world, and I'm like, I don't know, those tutorials. It's like learning stuff at school, and in the end you need something different in the job. It's just
yeah. I mean, it's good as a start, right? So I also took a course about Golang in 7 hours, but I mean, I have to go through them
to be a professional in that anyway,
Yeah. So yeah, it's just repetition all over again, and just with every line you code, you grow in that sense. And
okay, we need to cut the chit chat, man. That's for another.
Right.
You make maybe a chit chat video.
A tea session video.
We have
live
some tea session video. Yeah, we have something to share, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of experiences, which maybe some are just funny, but some definitely are hard lessons learned.
Yeah, both ways.
Both ways. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Then see you all.
Bye, guys.